Welcome, everybody. Thank you for attending. My name is Nico Kruger. I'm the Director of Global Sales Engineering here at Perforce, and Perforce Software actually owns Perfecto. Today, it's a recent acquisition. I'm going to run you through how Perfecto really solves this problem with cloud devices in today's world. So again, when we look at the problem here, we have to take a step back, and this is a recent study we've performed to understand what our customers are saying, what the market in general is saying, and it does align with what you saw earlier. And again, one of the big things that'll jump out is, the number one problem, achieving complete test automation. And I think, as alluded to earlier, it is really understanding what are the tools out there, the right tools for you to use based on, your experience, based on your skill set. If you're a business tester and more on an engineering side or test automation engineer, how do I get as close to complete test automation as humanly possible? So again, helping understand how we solve that with tools like Catalan, or do I take a different approach with BDD, or whatever my approach would be to go ahead and achieve that. The second one that jumps out, as you can see in the statistics over here, is of course getting the infrastructure and maintaining that infrastructure is what people typically call a lab. And so really what we're seeing in the market is that a lot of people go for a DIY, they try certain cloud vendors, but again, they do run into problems where, for example, just the pure array of devices and operating systems available in the market, there's not a single place or platform to go to that you can get all the browsers you want, on all the phones you want, or if you just want phones or just want browsers, you want a combination of real devices and simulators. And that's really where a product like Perfecto will come in and can really help. We also see that, of course, a lack of scripting and coding skills, of course, is still a big issue for many of the people around the world that are looking into test automation as well. But then one of the other big things that jumped out at us is, how do we analyze these results? So when we get into test automation, we are running and we're getting very good automation, sometimes 80, 90% automation coverage. What do we do with the results? How do I actually get, in a list of 10,000 test results, how do I get to the bottom of these results? What sort of technologies are available that help me with AI understand how to get to the bottom of these? So why would you choose to solve this problem with a cloud-based provider? I think the biggest reason is, as mentioned, is the maintenance of these platforms, having the right phones available in them, making sure it's always available, always ready to run. You don't have to take care of it in your office, worry about VPN connections, setting it up, making sure that the devices are there, that it's secure, that it complies with all the sort of regulations that your organization may need. And that's where a company like Perfecto can really help. First of all, we have 13 data centers located globally. So it doesn't matter the country or the region you are in, we will have both the devices as well as the browser combinations in your country. We also then make sure that these data centers comply with good security practices. They all have a 24/7 NOC available to make sure that it's always on and always ready to run. We also look at, how do we solve this problem of the instances where you need to scale very quickly. So the Perfecto platform allows you to very quickly and on-demand scale for more browsers or phones as you need them. So if you are getting ready for release and you all of a sudden need more phones or infrastructure, you can get those instantly. Again, what do we do about the test executions and the results that you get from them? So with our platform, we give you all the things that will help you very quickly get to the bottom of a bug or a crash and resolve it. We know that is why we test, why we use a system like ours, to really get the details to solve a bug very, very quickly. And that's really where Perfecto can give you everything: crash reports, device vitals, BAHA or performance files, all those sorts of things to help you resolve those issues very quickly. And the way we do this is really a zero trust approach. So none of our VMs are recycled. It's always brand new. There's no network sharing. We also solve the Macintosh problem. We have real Mac machines at the back end. If you want to test on, a Safari browser on a real Mac, we have those. So we solved a lot of those problems for our clients. So how do we reduce this time to test? So first of all, what is very important, what we're seeing in the market is that depending on the skill set, depending, on what technology you're using, people will use different frameworks, different execution frameworks, orchestration, as well as different CI tools. So what we do is we really have an open approach where we will give you the ability to use the tools that you are comfortable with. I think that's one of the big things we see today is people pick tools, and as soon as they grow a bit or they acquire another company or a different team joins and they use slightly different frameworks, it all falls apart. And so really what you want is a platform that is good enough that can run everything from straight Selenium, Appium, Espresso, XUI test in a single place. And we've seen this for some of our clients, as you'll see a bit later on, what the advantages are of doing that. Of course, as you can see in my screenshot over here, is how do I run this at scale, right? How do I run lots of tests in parallel? And again, you can use frameworks like TestNG to do that orchestration for you. And again, you can prioritize what you want to run. And again, it's zero setup time on your front to scale. You simply say, I want these devices, I want these browsers, and you will get them instantly. And again, you can go ahead and execute against them. Again, you can also then, once you get more mature, start to build this in as part of your CI/CD platform. So again, as you commit code before a merge or pull request goes up, you can check that the tests pass, and again, feed those back in to the mainline branch. One of the other things we see a lot is when you build DIY labs or you choose, different cloud providers or try to build your own, is what happens when you get a bit more advanced. And we talk a lot about advanced capabilities. And the first one doesn't seem like a big one, but when you think of having the latest device or latest browser the same day that it's in the store for your clients, so for example, the new iPhone or iOS 13, can I test against it? That's the question. And so Perfecto has never ever missed a date. We've always had devices available and operating systems available the day they are released. That means you can give a phenomenal experience to your customers. You don't have to wait. Again, the other things we do really well is, location marking. How do I replicate if people are traveling around? We did this work for insurance companies where they were physically driving around with phones in a vehicle. And so we changed that where you could actually use the Perfecto platform so you could reduce the cost and also speed up that testing process. Again, what happens to my app if I'm traveling around the world or accessing a service from a different country or location? Because we have our data centers located around the globe, we can easily do that. Again, more advanced scenarios like Touch ID, Face ID. These are things that a lot of people start to struggle with as they get into testing these advanced features for their apps. Again, we have those available for iOS and Android on real devices or simulators and emulators. You don't have to choose. With us, you can test those advanced features on the devices of your choice. Other things like scanning a barcode or two-factor authentication where my app is getting an SMS or text message that I need to put into a browser. How do I do those advanced flows? Again, you can do those because with Perfecto, it's a single platform that you can access, for web and mobile devices. Again, we do other things like audio injection. How do I, in today's world, we see problems with everybody working remotely, all of a sudden voice over IP systems. How do I measure call quality? We can inject audio and do those sorts of things as well. Again, we have full support for cellular networks. So if you want to test how your app works on a real network, how does it handle maybe your app with Facebook or some other social media app being open? How do you share resources with other apps? These are advanced things you can definitely test with a platform like Perfecto. And just to give you some sense of what we've done for customers around the world, this is typically what we see when we go and talk to customers and really understand their real need and their problem and how we can help them be more successful. And again, I've just given some brief examples over here located for various clients, both in the US, EMEA, Africa, Asia, as well as Australia. Again, you can see a lot of the things we're trying to solve here is how do we get faster feedback? So we can reduce the time for you to know what's going on, when things are breaking, how to solve them very quickly. And Perfecto helps you get to the bottom of that instantly. So again, if you want to start to look at reducing that cycle time to speed up that DevOps lifecycle, Perfecto is really going to be a great tool for you to do so. So how do we actually do that? So here's a practical example where you look at reducing noise. So a lot of times we start to do test automation and it's working great, and we're using tools like Catalan, we're using BDD, Selenium, Appium, everything is just streaming in. And so all of a sudden we have thousands upon thousands of results. How do we analyze this? The Perfecto platform can take all the results from browsers, phones, real devices, simulators, and actually analyzes that result, and it'll tell you instantly where the problem is. Now, a good example here is our heat map. So what if I quickly, when I put this on a screen to identify, for example, for a new build or for a new iOS version, where things are failing? Here you can instantly see, for example, the iPhone X is causing a problem, or iPad mini is causing a problem. And if you click on that, you'll instantly get to the report so you can actually see what's going on. More importantly, what happens if I have different versions of iOS or Android that I want to compare to each other? So all of a sudden, for example, a Samsung S8 is failing, but the S6 is not. How can I compare them side by side to really get to the bottom of that? Even more so is if you start to have apps that are progressive web apps, where they can run the same app really on a phone as well as a browser. How do I compare multiple apps at the same step? So if I have a single script, how can I compare them to see where the problem is? And here's a great example of taking that and comparing the same script across multiple devices, browsers, as well as phone, and get to a problem instantly. And so once you click on that to get to the problem, you will see not only the rich artifacts, the videos, and all those things we have available, you will also be able to see that full stack trace, what actually happened, right? You can get the performance files, the vitals, the device logs, all those things that are important to you as a tester, but more so important to the engineer that needs to resolve these issues. Again, it does integrate with Jira. So if I click that bug little button at the top right-hand corner, I'll be able to push my details into my backlog instantly. That means really reducing that time back to engineering, and there really isn't an excuse anymore for not understanding how to not only reproduce a specific bug, but also looking at the video playback of how that bug originated in the first place. So just a great way for teams really to start working together in a more cohesive fashion. So how do we do this? So Perfecto is a unified platform. So if you think at the very bottom of the screen, you can see what we call our smart test lab or infrastructure. Because we've done this for so many years and we have all these data centers around the world, we intimately understand how to make this run at scale. That is for real devices, mobile simulators and emulators, as well as desktop browsers. We've built technology where these things can start to self-heal themselves. So that really means less maintenance and downtime for both you and us. It means these infrastructure becomes elastic, where we can scale as you need it. It also means that we know how to collect all the things that are important to engineers to solve these problems. And then, of course, if you look at the middle bit, is how do you author and create these? That could be a tool like Catalan. It could be a codeless tool. It could be any tool that you pick as the authoring. And it might be a combination for many of you. It might be part engineering, part business testers, and so on. So again, the tool you pick for authoring is really up to you, how you debug and interact with the system. Again, you can use our dev tunnel capabilities to really get to a device or browser to debug against it. We also allow this if you're doing internal sites, right? So even if your site is internal or the app is internal, it doesn't go to a public-facing audience, you can debug and test against those apps using Perfecto. We have the ability to connect to your network seamlessly. And again, we allow you to orchestrate as you need it. But really at the top is where we give you a tremendous amount of value. It's understanding the problem, analyzing that problem, and getting to the root cause very, very quickly. And again, Perfecto excels in doing that for you. So really to summarize, what is the difference here? Perfecto is an enterprise-grade cloud solution. That means work from anywhere, it's available always, it's scalable, and it is secure. Right? We are there for you 24/7. We've got data centers across most continents these days. And again, if you're a big bank or a small startup, we've got the option that will help you solve the problems that you're looking to solve. The biggest thing is it is a single platform. It is one place to go for web and mobile testing. You don't have to pick a different provider for different things. We will have the beta OSs, the latest OSs, browsers available for you instantly. So again, it makes that a lot easier. probably very pertinent in today's world is remote device access. No longer do you have to worry about getting to a device, getting to the right device. You simply open up a browser and you are connected to them. More importantly, with our DevTunnel and P-Connect capabilities, you can have a device simulated as if it's plugged into a USB port on your local computer. So really it takes away all the bottlenecks and problems typically associated with debugging against a real device if needed. And then finally, getting that automation coverage you need, and also the real user conditions. How do I simulate people using my app so that we test the way people are using my app? And again, we do those with our real user simulation conditions we've got, network, change of location, background apps, all those sorts of things. And again, finally, getting to the bottom of analyzing these problems fast and efficiently, as well as having this being part of your test automation pipeline, so your CI/CD pipeline. Thank you very much.